So today's episode is called From False Power to True Power. And in a way, it's very much a part of the whole of the human journey, because almost everyone is caught to some degree, to varying degrees, in false power. And it's very important as a species living on this planet that we make the shift from false power to true power. Now, let me first talk about false power. It begins in very, very early infancy, and it continues throughout our childhood, where we discover and we learn that we feel somewhat powerless. And that's kind of natural. We're just tiny. We're little children. We're infants. Of course we're powerless. Of course we're dependent on others. Of course we have to look to others for survival, for approval, for whatever, to know that somebody's going to be there for us at that very young, tender age. But the truth is we are powerless at that young age. And as we proceed through our childhood, it's made much worse, this feeling of powerlessness. It's made much worse by our parents not really being present with us and not really listening to us, and insisting we do it their way rather than our way, insisting that they know what is best for us, they know what we want rather than we know what we want. And they don't really pay enough attention to what we want and what we don't want, and we finish up disconnecting from what we want. We no longer know what we want. We no longer know what we feel, and we've kind of lost ourselves in this dream imposed upon us by our parents. It takes time for us to become absorbed into the dream, probably 4, 5, or 6 years to be fully absorbed into the dream, or maybe longer. But nevertheless, as a result of our childhood, as a result of our parents not being present, as a result of our parents being lost in their own dream of powerlessness, where they're looking for control, as a result of all of that, we finish up feeling powerless. And that is really, really unacceptable to us as we journey through life. We don't want to feel powerless. And so we seek to gain the feeling of power by having power over others. It can be very, very subtle, or it can be very, very obvious how we are seeking power over others. So I might be seeking power to prove how successful I am. I'm more successful than you, or I'm more handsome than you, or I have a better car than you do. This is all in a way involved in false power. It's making me feel stronger, bigger, more important, more successful. It gives me a feeling of power. But it doesn't make any difference, because at a much deeper, unconscious level is this feeling of being powerless. And it doesn't matter how much power you acquire over other people, you still have this much deeper, more unconscious feeling of powerlessness buried deep within you. And so this just continues throughout our lives, seeking power, trying to feel more powerful, trying to escape that feeling that we're powerless. So the truth is, any power which is in relation to another person is false power. If you get angry with someone and you express that anger, you're very, very much involved in false power. You're seeking to defeat the other person with anger, to have power over the other person with anger. If you judge another person, that's clearly and definitely false power. It's power over another. You're judging another to make yourself feel more important, more special, and more worthwhile than the one you're judging. Now, if you judge, you're involved in false power. But similarly, if you feel judged, that's just as much false power. You're involved in false power. So to be involved in false power, you can either be the victim and live your life as a victim, worrying what other people think of you, afraid of judgment, afraid of rejection, all of that. You can be a victim. Many people live their lives as victims, not really knowing who they are, and feeling powerless at so many levels. So if you feel judged, that's as much false power as the one judging. If you're involved in any of these energies, It's clearly 100% false power. Blame. Blame is 100% involvement in false power. But if somebody blames you and you feel guilty, then you're just as much involved in false power. It's both sides of the equation playing together that amount to false power. If you have expectation of another, and when those expectations aren't met, you feel resentful, false power. Anger, blame, guilt, judgment, resentment, expectation, all these energies, false power. So start to bring awareness to these energies as they arise within you. And then it comes down to basically deciding, who do you want to be in the world? Do you want to be an abuser or an abused? Both are equally involved in false power. And let me tell you how this evolves within us. This is not just this lifetime. We have lived many, many lifetimes, and how it works over many, many lifetimes at the soul level is that one lifetime you might be the abuser. Next lifetime, you might be the abused. And this goes on lifetime after lifetime. And in this lifetime, you can be the abuser or the abused, or you can be both. So it's so important to start to recognize when you're involved in false power and disengage from it. You don't need power in life. Many people who have been victims all their life strive to become empowered, but they do it in all the wrong ways. They're using anger to become empowered. They're using blame, it's your fault, to become empowered. Some people get very, very involved in I'm right, which means if I'm right, you must be wrong. False power, all of it false power. We humans, if we want to survive on this planet, we have to make a shift from false power to true power. Then what is true power, you might ask? True power has nothing to do with anyone else. True power simply arises from the center of your being. And it's that energy that empowers you and to come to life and be fully and authentically yourself, independently of anyone else. With true power, there's no blame, there's no guilt, there's no expectation, there's no resentment, and particularly there's no judgment. There's no anger, not in true power. So really, at the deepest level, true power is simply the energy that comes from the center of your being and empowers you and enables you to express yourself fully and authentically in the world. It literally enables you to come alive and be here moment to moment, present with what is here. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. We didn't stay present with what is here. We did a little journey into the mind, and we kept going further and further into the mind, into the past and future, holding on to the past, imagining the future. We just took ourselves further and further into the world of the mind, the dream, the story, and then we got lost there. So that's what happened to us. Now, let me tell you what is another aspect of true power, particularly in relation to living in the world and expressing yourself in the world. It's so simple. This is true power. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I can express it clearly and lovingly. No anger, no resentment, no hurt. Just, I know what I want and I know what I don't want. I express it clearly and lovingly. Now, here's the catch. Without attachment to the outcome. Because as a wise person, I know, you know, we all know, as a wise person, sometimes we get what we want and sometimes we don't get what we want. And that has to be okay. Otherwise, you've turned what you want into an expectation. Now you're back into false power. You're in the dream. So it's so simple. Now, how do you know what you want? How do you know what you don't want? The answer is so simple also. You just feel. It's your feelings. What are you feeling in this moment that indicates what you want right now or what you don't want? I'll give you a really simple example. In this moment, do you feel thirsty? Because if you feel thirsty, that's a clue telling you what you want. Do you feel hungry? Same thing. Do you feel lonely? Because sometimes you can feel lonely or isolated. That's legitimate. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just time to emerge out of your aloneness and connect with others and relate to other people moment to moment. No problem. Then you call a friend. If you feel lonely, there's your feeling. I feel lonely. My response then, what do I want? Well, I want to go and I'm going to call a friend and have a cup of tea or coffee or a sandwich with a friend. No problem. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And ironically, little children, very young children, are empowered in the way that I'm describing. They feel their feelings. They're hungry. They ask for what they want. Mummies, they want to be picked up. So they give a little sound and mummy picks them up. Now they want to be put down. They wriggle a little bit. They know what they want. And mummy puts them down. This is the way it could be, and the way it's going to best serve us in our parenting. Be very responsive to what the child wants and doesn't want. Of course, you can set boundaries and set limits, but not in a way that steals from that child the inner knowing that the child is more than worthy of getting whatever it wants and not having to put up what it doesn't want. So the child had that power in the beginning, but it was very slowly taken away, and now we're stuck in false power. Now I'm showing you how to come back to true power. I know what I feel my feelings in the moment. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I express it clearly and lovingly without attachment to the outcome. That's one of the most important aspects of it. Okay, so this is a very, very easy transition for humanity to make, or at least for the ones viewing this episode. It's a very important shift and a very easy shift to make, but you have to want to make it. You have to recognize, you have to be willing to recognize how you've been caught in false power as the victim or the victimizer. If you've been the victim all your life, you're going to have to switch over to the victimizer and balance it up and then come to the center. Neither the victim nor the victimizer. God is, I am, thou art. It's that simple. Okay, now I do have some questions that I will answer. The first question is from Siri from Norway. Hello, dear Leonard. Can you help me answer this question? Whenever I come close to another person in a romantic relationship, it always comes to a point where I lose my sense of self in the other person. How can I be free of this? I can now see and acknowledge when it happens. I'm unable to keep it from happening. Yours sincerely, Siri. Okay. She does point out that she's not Siri from the iPhone, which I do appreciate that. Okay, Siri, it's actually a very good question. I think that is relevant to very many people. You see, I'm not saying this is always the case. First of all, I think romantic relationships are great. Go for it, enjoy, but learn your lessons as a result of going for a romantic relationship, because it's certainly going to bring into awareness lessons you're going to have to learn in relationship. So usually when we get involved in a romantic relationship, we celebrate, we go, great, I finally found someone who'll be here for me for the rest of my life. No one was here for me in my childhood. I've never found anyone to truly be here for me. And so now I've found someone who's saying they'll be here for me. They love me. I love them. And now I'm safe and secure for the rest of my life. I finally found someone to be here for me. Now, of course, that's all coming from the inner child, looking for someone to be here for them. And what happens is, if you enter into a relationship with that at an unconscious level, what I just described, if you enter into a relationship like that, you're going to bring your entire past into the relationship. You're going to bring all your fears into the relationship, all your unmet needs into the relationship. Meaning, if you felt no one was here for you, you expect your partner to be here for you. If your parents weren't loving, your partner has to be loving towards you, etc., etc. You found someone to fill the empty spaces, and I can promise you, it might feel great for a while, but it won't last. Now, that's okay. It's okay to be in that kind of relationship as long as you're paying attention. I like to say that the relationship is a mirror, and it's mirroring to you, not your partner, but the relationship itself and your partner are mirroring to you, reflecting to you. Everything is unhealed from your past, including past lives, including your childhood. What are the unmet needs? What are the repressed feelings you're still carrying that can be so easily triggered by your partner when your partner meant no harm whatsoever? Your partner didn't mean to hurt you or offend you, but because of your repressed feelings and limiting beliefs, those things get triggered. And then you want to blame your partner. You think it's all about your partner. It has nothing to do with your partner. So if you can look into the mirror, that is your relationship, and look to see where you're in need of healing. What are your projections onto your partner? What are you resentful about? What are you hurt about? Where does this come from? You have to connect the dots. Well, this is not really about my partner. It's coming from my childhood, something unresolved or unhealed in my childhood, which is very common for almost everyone. It can also be coming from a past life. You don't know unless you really, really go into this lifetime, whatever the disturbance is from your childhood. Stop believing it's about your partner. Stop blaming your partner and take full responsibility for yourself, for the feelings that are arising and the limiting beliefs that are filtering through into your relationship, into your experience of life, into your experience of who you are. You have to start bringing everything to conscious awareness. When are you caught in the story? If you're in the dream, not one thing not one conclusion you come to within the dream is true. Not one thought you have within the dream is true. Not one belief you have within the dream is true. And your relationships are built on very, very shaky ground, because all you're doing is projecting onto each other or using each other. Now, there is another kind of relationship. Once you go through that process of taking responsibility for yourself at every level, then you can that relationship, dysfunctional relationship, and you can then find your way to a different kind of relationship based in presence. What I say is change out the word relationship with the word relatedness. If relatedness is not the foundation of your being together, then it's going to have lots and lots of difficulty and lots of ups and downs and confusion and all those sorts of things. Blame, resentment, anger, expectation, resentment, all of these things come into a relationship that is not based in presence. So when I say make relatedness the foundation of your being together with another person, what that means is make presence the foundation. Where you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be present all the time, but there's an agreement that the foundation of your relationship is being present together, and the foundation of your relationship is to take responsibility for the thoughts and feelings that might arise within the relationship. No longer are you going to blame your partner, you're going to thank your partner for triggering what's unhealed and unresolved within you. So that's really all I can say in that case. You can be free of that, Siri, by looking and examining the projections you have onto your partner. What are your expectations? What needs is he supposed to meet? What hurts is he supposed to heal for you? Is he supposed to be here for you, supporting you, even though you lost in the dream? Or is the most loving thing he can do is just simply say, you're lost in a dream, please bring conscious awareness to that. Come out of the dream so we can be truly together. So we can be truly together. We can share a loving life together. You see, the truth is, I don't need anyone to love me. I don't need you to love me, Siri, or anyone else. Why not? Because I am love. If I need anyone to love me, then I'm caught in my dream. And in the dream, at a very subtle or a very obvious level, I don't feel loved. So, of course, I'll spend my life within the dream looking for love. I don't feel good enough. I'll spend my whole life trying to prove that I'm good enough or that I'm worthy. we just get so lost in the dream. So the best thing a partner can reflect to you, your beloved can reflect to you, is, sweetheart, you're caught in your dream. What feelings are coming up? In fact, I'll give you a clue how to have a very successful and happy relationship. Instead of getting involved in these dramas and these, you did this and you didn't do that and you should have done this and why didn't you do that and you don't really love, if you love me, you do this, you do that. All of that's the dream. None of it's true. Not any of it. And it's based in the past. And many people that I'm aware of and that I've known in my lifetime don't let go of the past. They accumulate the past to bring it out of their quiver of arrows and fire those past crimes against you. So don't fall for that one. Let the past go. Forgive very quickly. Come back into harmony. Recognize that you are love, your partner is love, and live a loving life together. Instead of loving each other, hold hands and love the world. You don't need to love each other. You are already love. Now, of course, you'll love your partner. How can you not? Because you are love. Of course, your partner will love you. How can your partner not? Because you are love. Because your partner is love. So it's really that simple. We need to re-examine the whole question of power, false power to true power, and from unconscious relationships to conscious relationships based in presence. Now, I'm all in favor of being in an unconscious relationship as long as you look into the mirror, that is the relationship, and learn your lessons quickly. And by the way, I should add one final thing here, which is that a relationship based on all these wrong reasons, projections, expectations, all of that, a dysfunctional relationship based in the dream, can convert to the second kind of relationship based in presence, provided that both partners embrace true responsibility. True power, true freedom, true responsibility, they all go together. It's so beautiful. It really is. And it's all designed by God. And it's not God's fault that we all went astray, getting caught in false power, false notions of love, which are really not love at all. And relationships by their very nature drag us into the world of time and into the dream. The moment you think you have found someone in your life to be here forever, to be with you forever, to be here for you forever, now you've taken yourself into the dream. Good luck with that. So don't look to another person for anything. Just be love. Be love. Apologize if you say something that's slightly off. No problem. Apologize. Give up the need to be right. Much better to give that up. In presence, I can promise you, nobody's right and nobody's wrong. There's just this moment. It's transcendent of right and wrong. It's transcendent of success and failure. And beyond the words, silence. My natural state is to be present, silent. Your natural state is to be present and silent and amazing. That's who you are. You are amazing if you open up into the truth of who you are. Which means if you open into presence, because it's the present moment that reveals the truth. Your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, and your beliefs have absolutely nothing to do with the truth. And the whole of humanity is lost in illusion and separation. And boy, are we destructive. Not only to each other, in so many ways are we abusive. Our world is full of people, stories of abuse, every kind of abuse of animals, abuse of women, abuse of children, even abuse of men. Although men are the primary abusers, let's face it. Women are much closer to God than men. Men have gone too far away with their need for power and more. Men, give it up and be here now and bow bow before woman, and then bow before God. Amen. Okay, so I do have another question here. Let me check the time. I think I'm going to read it. Let's finish up there, okay? So I might tackle that next question next week. If you do have a question, please be sure to email it to us at info@leonardjacobson.com/questions, I think it is. Also, I'd really be grateful if you would hit the subscribe button. It's something to do with the YouTube algorithms. I don't know anything about it, but I've been told it's good if you subscribe. It's good for us, and it's good for you because you'll be notified every time we put out a new video. Also, it'd be great if you would hit the like button, the notification button, and if you'd like to post a comment, I read your comments and I really enjoy reading your comments. It kind of helps me connect to you beyond just this medium here. When I read your comments, it's like, oh, here's this person or that person. Even if it's just to say hello. We're all in this together, folks. Let's leave no one behind. Whoever's ready and interested in awakening, I say let's all awaken together. Okay, love and blessings to everyone. And that is the end of our episode 10. From false power to true power.